So pricing is hard. It's something that a lot of web designers I know struggle with. Figuring out what people will pay and what you need to make, and closing any gaps between those two can be really tricky. And a lot of designers get hung up on how to price their services, and they end up just really struggling. So I want to tell you that you can do it. And what I like to do is use a combination of gut feeling and math, because pricing needs to feel right, but it definitely also needs to make sense financially. So first of all, I want to ask you, what feels right for your pricing? When you think of your services and all the value you're providing, what feels right to you? So if you create a web design package, does it feel right at $3,500 or $5,000 or $10,000? Now, I'm a firm believer that your prices should make you just a little bit nervous when you first put them out into the world. If you feel 100% comfortable, you're likely charging too little, and you'll end up frustrated if the product doesn't go perfectly smoothly. You're gonna be like, oh my gosh, I undercharged for this. But instead, if you're just a little bit uncomfortable with your rates, you have some wiggle room for inevitable hiccups. Can't say that word. Inevitable hiccups that come along with creating websites. And by the time you finish, you'll probably feel comfortable with the rate that you set. And if you have a few more projects like that, you'll be ready to raise your rates again, because everything will become smooth and you'll be like, yep, I got this. Time to boost those prices up. Your second step is thinking about how much money you actually need to make. So you need to start there to know how much money you need to hit each month and have a realistic number. Too many people get caught up in this idea of, oh, I want to make six figures. And just this vague six figures, I mean, I know six figures is $100,000, but everybody's just like this vague, I want to make six figures or multi-six figures, and that's it. But they don't actually break down how much that is per month and whether that's realistic with where they're at in their business and how much they actually can expect to sell. So what I want you to do is write down what you're currently charging for each product or service. And if you have new products or services, I want you to write down what you're thinking about charging for those. And then I want you to think about how many of those can you offer in a month. So for most web designers, a full website design and development typically takes 2 months. It takes typically about 8 weeks. Now, I know some of you are faster. I know some of you are slower. That's okay. But just on average, 8 weeks is pretty normal. So in a month, you could make half a website, right? Now, half a website is not a full website. That means it's going to take 2 months for you to make each website, which means you're going to have to probably juggle a couple clients at a time. Now, as a side note, I don't recommend taking on more than 2 full website builds at a time if you're doing the design and the development, because otherwise it's hard to stay on track and provide really, really great services. But I also want you to consider your ideal week. Now, I have a blog post on this, but I want you to think about your ideal week and how much you're working. So if you're only working 3 days a week, you should probably only be building 1 website at a time, unless you're super ridiculously efficient and you actually have efficient clients who turn in their stuff on time. So figure out how long each website or any of your other services are going to take, and realistically how many you can handle each and every month. So I need you to take a second and think about that. How many of these services can you provide in a month, and what are you going to charge for them? And then I want you to think about how many are you actually going to sell in a month. So just because you can handle 2 websites in a month, you can, be building 2 at a time or 4 at a time or 12 at a time, whatever. It doesn't mean you're going to sell that many, because the fact is that we can have the best intentions, but if we are unrealistic with how many we're going to sell, if we think that we're going to make $10,000 a month selling 10 websites at $1,000 per month, that's not very realistic for us, well, 1, to manage, but 2, think about how much selling that is. You're basically marketing full time. So maybe you'll only sell 1 actual website, but you'll also sell 3 maintenance packages or 3 retainers of some sort. So you need to actually look at your sales history and make an educated guess on the number of each service you think you can realistically sell. So your past Success is going to be a good indicator of your future success in selling. That doesn't mean you can't make improvements, which you will as you progress through your business. But if you in the past have sold one service per month, it's not very realistic to expect you to bump that to magically 10 services overnight. So you need to think about what's a realistic progression. Can you instead go from 1 to 2, and then once you're consistently selling 2 for a couple months, can you push that to 3 if you need to, or if 2 is enough, stay there. So think about that. I want you to be realistic. So how many services do you actually expect to sell per month? And then you can figure out exactly how much you need to charge. So based on the number of services you'll think you'll sell each month, how much would you need to charge in order to reach your income goals? So let's say that your income goal is $3,500 per month. Your current website project price is $1,500, and you expect to sell 1 website per month. So even though they take 2 months to complete, you're getting paid in full. You're getting paid for 1 website each month as you finish one and you start the next. There's like some overlap. Then you also have a new maintenance plan for $50 per month. You expect to keep 4 clients on monthly maintenance, which means you'll be making $200 per month on maintenance. So your total projected income, based on those numbers, you end up being shy of your income goal by $1,800 per month. And that hurts, especially if you don't really realize how much money you need to be making each month. And you do this for a while and you're like, I'm working so hard and I'm selling websites, I'm selling plans, but it's not enough money because you've never actually sat down and figured out how much money you should be making. So you need to figure out how to make up that difference. So you can either sell more, which means more work, hustling up more clients, working with them and taking on more work, or you can raise your prices. Now, a lot of designers are going to end up doing the hustling. They're going to be like, I can't raise my rates. This is what they are. This is what I'm selling. So they're going to do that. They're going to end up working those long hours and nights and weekends trying to hit their income goal. But we want to avoid that. We want to work smarter, not harder. So we are going to raise our rates. And it's not just as simple as changing the price on your website. I do promise you that clients who purchase $1,500 websites do expect less than those who purchase, say, a $5,000 website, but they don't actually expect that much less. And in some cases, people who pay less expect more than the people who pay more. But in any case, the difference between a $1,500 website and a $5,000 website is not so great that it should vastly affect the amount of time you spend on each project. Like, it's not going to suddenly, double or triple the amount of time that you're taking. It actually has a lot more to do with how you present yourself than what you offer. So let's talk about positioning and adding value. So what you should do is make your largest packages cover your monthly income goals. So if you want to make $5,000 per month, that should be the starting price of your website packages. The starting price. So $5,000, that means you only have to sell 1. But you might be saying, how do you sell people on a website that costs more than double what you were previously charging? And first of all, it's all about positioning. So I want you to consider your ideal competition. If you don't know who your ideal competition is, your ideal competition those are the people that you wish you were on the same level as, that you're like, oh, I want to be just like her when my business grows up, or I want to, I admire this person, I look up to them. Those are your ideal competition. Those are the people that you want to be on the same level as, and they're likely charging more than $5,000. They might be charging a crazy amount more. So I want you to look at, how do they position themselves? How do they convince potential customers that they're worth the cost? I want you to take a look at the language they use and how they explain the benefits of working with them. They might be offering the exact same thing that you are, but the perceived value is higher based on their positioning and how they're selling the benefits to their clients. And then I want you to think about how you can add real value to your website packages. So simple things like a 15-minute weekly Skype check-in, or doing videos to walk your clients through your mock-ups, really informative intro packets, having everything streamlined and going smoothly throughout the project, great customer service, and website strategy can all easily be added to what you're currently offering, or just improved upon what you're currently offering. And another side note, customer service and website strategy should already be included in any web design project. Those should be a given. But many designers don't explain these, or they don't do them. Web designers actually have a terrible reputation of horrible customer service and making things that look pretty but that don't actually help their clients achieve their goals. So you need to focus on these things. It will set you apart and your clients will be so happy. So great customer service. Send them an email every week just letting them know how their project's progressing. Make everything run smoothly and be organized. That's huge. And then have their website actually do something for them, like have it help them in some way. And when you can explain those benefits, you will be the person they want to hire, and they will be willing to pay so much more than for anybody else. And the point is to make your packages as valuable as possible. So you only need to sell one single one each month to reach your income goals, or maybe even only half of one. So you only need to sell one every other month. And this works whether your goals are $5,000, $10,000, it doesn't matter what your income goal is. With proper positioning and added value where you explain the benefits, you can make website packages that meet your clients' needs and that meet your needs in terms of what you need to make each month. And honestly, it's super weird, but it is not harder to sell a $5,000 website than it is to sell a $150 one. I've done both, and there's an audience at any level. So when you have positioned yourself properly, selling a website for $5,000 or $10,000 is not something that takes great effort, because you are seen as someone who is providing value that is worth that price. But if you're, currently selling things for, or websites for, let's say under $2,000, you've positioned yourself there, and that's, it might be a struggle because you're still not playing up the value and the benefits. But once you start doing that, once you start showing potential customers, potential clients, how you can help them, those sales are going to come much easier, and you're going to be able to keep raising your rates. And of course, if your main packages cover your income goals and you're selling consistently, everything else you sell, those maintenance packages, those retainers, anything smaller, they can fill in gaps if you're not booked. Or if you just want to take some time off, they can help fill in some extra money and give you some little bonuses. So I want you to price your services, reevaluate, restructure, and reposition your offerings, repackage them to provide more value for your clients and to cover your income goals for each month. So be sure to explain the benefits of working with you, and be sure to follow up on those promises. And then get your new pricing online. All right, thank you so much for tuning in. I will see you next Tuesday. Bye.